don't need no bacteria. I'm not saying that dog poop ain't got no bacteria, but 30 seconds and it's frozen. It might not even taste like nothing. It's gonna taste like shit. I'm lying.
It's Tiana Will, and you're listening to the Tea Talks. You're listening to the Tea Talks.
All right. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I came with my hand on the other side, so I'm gonna keep it over here with my hand gestures. Okay. Okay. This is take 2. Here we go. All right. What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl Tiana Woe, and you are listening to the Tea Talks. You know, talks with T, you know me. If you are a new listener, welcome. As always, this podcast can be found on your favorite streaming services. You can also watch this episode on YouTube at the The'T'TalksPod. This is a space for real conversations, honest advice, laughs, and a little bit of I said what I said. There's no topic that is off limits here, so let's get into it. So first things first, what's tea, what's new with me since the last episode. First thing first, my last episode is my first episode and it went live and I am proud of myself. I am so happy that I uploaded the video. Now I need to upload at least 50 more episodes this year. Okay? Anywho, I did update my little background, you know what I'm saying? I got me a little, a curtain with some little fairy lights. So happy about that. I also decided randomly that I wanted to give up hard liquor. So mocktail me or give me champagne or, mimosa. I'm a mimosa mommy, as well as some wine because the hard liquor is not doing it for me. The tequila doesn't sit well anymore. I'm no longer tequila tea. I'm so sad about it. But at the same time, like, what they say, hard liquor is just not even great for you anyway. So yeah, there's that. Also, I'm so happy when I see people submit comments and questions. So I also want to let you know that it is completely anonymous unless you say otherwise in the text box. But for me, when it comes into my email, it literally just says the things that you've selected. So just want to touch on that. And then another thing that I did during the week was I did a lot of content planning. I am focusing so much on content this year. So I have schedules and times and for me to do things and just kind of helping me stay on track. That's just the biggest thing is I just want to stay on track with what I said I'm going to do. And I have my Outlook calendar color coded. I also have to do all of this around my work schedule. So I stay up late often. And I utilize my whole 24 hours. Like on the weekends, I got my whole 24 hours. I won't hear nobody telling me ever again, we got the same 24 hours. Why you ain't use your 24 hours? It's like, okay, I tried my best. Okay. I am trying my best. So, and I know it's only the beginning of the year. So it's like, I planned for this and da-da-da. And don't get me wrong, I know things happen. So, I think about the quote in, what's that movie? I love that movie. I don't know what the movie is, but I love it. Anyways, this Christmas, when she's like, if you want to hear the Lord laugh, tell him what you have planned for the day. And that's literally like how I be feeling sometimes. But I would rather still plan than to just wing things like I have. So yeah, there's that. Also, I want to plug my crafty era kind of thing in. So if you are into any personalized items, whether that's a mug, a cup, a wine glass, a keychain, a personalized puzzle, I make those. You can visit my website, I know that's right.com. Right as in WRIGHT, like my last name, my new last name, because I's married now. I's married. Um Yeah, and then also I want to mention that I feel like I am evolving into my natural womanhood era, right? I am in the thick of, I need to be in the kitchen, I need to be cooking, I need to be cleaning, I need to be crafting, sewing, all the things. Like, I think when it comes to work, like, I like my job. I do. I'm happy I get a paycheck every 2 weeks and it hits, right? Um, but I am starting to realize, like, I was not the one who was out here fighting for the right to work. Um, no. Grateful that I can, cause yeah. But I don't know. Like, I feel like I would have just sat that one out. Like, I I think I'm okay with just sitting at home. I think it just sucks because the narrative is like, you're no longer independent, so then everything depends on the man. It depends on the type of man, though. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can't be holding nothing over me, but like, if I have a godly man, which I do, I feel like he knows, like, you can't hold that over my head, baby, because look what I'm doing in this house. I'm cooking you home cooked meals, okay? I'm cooking you food in this Dutch oven that I got, which I'm always promoting on my Instagram story. If you do not have a Dutch oven, get you one, order one right now. Stop listening to this and go order you a Dutch oven, 7 quarts, okay? Anywho, I say that to say, I'm hoping by, sometime in the near future that I am on this content journey, and I am also in my Martha Stewart / Monique from the Parkers era, where I'm just like doing things with my hands that I think women were just, meant to do. I mean, at least for me, I'm the woman who was meant to do the things that I say I want to do right now. Anywho, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is friendships in your 30s. So let's get into it. The first question that we have is, why do friendships feel harder in your 30s, right? And one thing I want to say is, I'm only 30, so I cannot say much about what it is to like be in the thick of the 30s. But I did do some scrolling on TikTok from the women who are actively in like their mid 30s, late 30s, whatever. And some of the things that they mentioned were, is that person focused on their career? Are they in a marriage? Are they in a committed relationship? Do they have kids? Like, did they just have a baby? Are they traveling? Are they in a season of healing? And I think one question that comes from that question, right, is how do you deal with friends who are in a different life stage compared to where you are, right? And I think when I think about myself, it's like, I don't have kids yet. Big yet. I do not have kids yet, but I will, right? So I think for me, with my friends who do have kids, I'm aware that you have a child. Like, I can't expect you to do too much. I also expect, like, if you hang out with me, your child may be here. I like children, so I'm okay with that. But then there are people who do not like children, or, they don't want to be around your kid because maybe your kid is bad, or whatever the case may be. But I think at the end of the day, if this is a friendship, you have to acknowledge those things and work around it. I pride myself in the type of friend that I am when it comes to my friends who have kids, because I know a lot of times that the person is forgotten because they have a kid. So sometimes majority of people are just focused on their kid, like, oh my God, I want to see your baby, send me pictures, like, and not really checking on the friend. I feel like, example, my friend Kat, I feel like I definitely was like, oh my gosh, congratulations, seeing her son when he was born, everything, right? But I think most of the time I was always like, how you doing? How are you? Because it's like, we just met the homie. Like, he just got here. Like, you need to you need to catch up. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're new here. This right here that we got, it's been established. So I just knew how important it was to make sure that she still felt seen. Not that I mean, baby boy, love him down. We'll do anything for him. But I just knew that was like the priority for me. But everybody handles that differently, right? So I think that is something when it comes to kids. How do you handle that? And then also going into careers, right? Being in Vegas, people work different schedules. A lot of people work in the nightlife or the night, right? The night industry or the hospitality industry, whatever you want to call it. And they're like available during the middle of the week. So where a normal person, not a normal person, we are all normal. Well, I can't say we all normal, but we're regular people, right? But people who have like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, right? We can't kick it with you on a Monday. We cannot actually go get the mimosas with you on a random Tuesday, right? Taco Tuesdays and tequila shots is not going to happen for us because we are knee deep in an Excel spreadsheet or, a presentation or 1,000 Teams meetings that are unnecessary, right? And so it's being mindful of that. But then also, what type of work do they have? Are they remote? Like me, I'm hybrid. So the days where I work remote, I'm okay with doing something after work. But if it is the day that I had to go into the office, I'm completely drained because I sat in a building where I could have done a lot of things at home, but that's just like my opinion. Anywho, then there are the people who are entrepreneurs who got all the free time in the world, or not even all the free time in the world. They just real busy. They in their entrepreneur bag, okay? And so it's just, stuff like that. So the people who are fully remote, they don't got time. They have no time to want to hang out with you because they want to decompress because they got off of work or they might have to go pick up their kids. They might have a man, then they got to go cater to him. Like, there's a lot of things. Like, I think as a friend, we just got to be aware of all these things, right? And so with that comes, I think, grace, comes self-awareness, comes acknowledging if you are codependent. And I think for me, if I go back to like my experience in my younger days, which I'm still young, so my early younger days, I knew, well, I had to learn that I was a codependent friend. I wanted to do anything, everything my friends are doing. I wanted to be with them 24/7. What you doing? I'm doing it. If you jumping off a bridge, I'm jumping off a bridge. Like, that was the type of friend that I was. And I think just being honest, like, not being friends with them, like being forced to not be friends with them and them setting boundaries with me was very eye-opening, but it also helped me learn to not be codependent, to learn how to be with myself and be content with myself and do things by myself and just, I feel like, just know who I am more, but also learn like boundaries as a friend. And I'm so grateful for it. Like, I think it has definitely helped all of my future friendships and the friendships that I have now, because if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would be the best friend that I am today, if that makes sense. So I say that to, just be aware of who you are. Make sure that you don't have any envy. Make sure you don't have any jealousy. It's all about checking yourself at the door, right? You need to make sure that you have checked yourself. And I think what comes with that is making sure that you're showing up for yourself first and knowing that you don't need somebody else to show up for you first. I think a lot of times too is, we're constantly looking for praise and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, I think at this age, this age that I've been for 6 months, but the older you get, I do think it's important to just be happy to be your own cheerleader, right? Be happy for the success that you've done for yourself. You don't need anybody else to tell you congratulations, good job. Does it feel good? Does it sound good? Does it make you feel? Yes. I'm not going to act like it doesn't, but that feeling of when you're done looking for other people to praise you or other people to acknowledge your success and your achievements, it's just another thing. Like, I'd be too happy for myself. Like, I don't even care if nobody else cares. Now, granted, I'm going to ask, like, are you proud of me? Are you so happy for me? I am, but I don't need it. I am a words of affirmation person though, but it doesn't make me feel like you don't love me or you don't support me or all the other things, but I just will say that. So don't be afraid to be your own cheerleader. Be your own cheerleader so then you don't have to depend on your friends to be your cheerleaders. But I do think your friends can be that for you when they're available, right? And another thing is, as far as like some of the things that were different life stages, right? Is like, I'm the married friend. I know that I have to prioritize my husband first before anybody else because we are one, right? When we gave ourselves to each other, we became one flesh. And I think something that is important to know, and I actually did some scholarly research for this episode, which I'm very proud of myself, because I am a student at heart. And I looked up a study, and it was for aging research. So, granted, I just want to give the facts of the study. It was 19 white women in the northeast part of the United States, and they were like 55 plus, right? So, not necessarily related to us in our 30s. But one thing that I really liked that they pointed out was in there they talked about three circles, and the first circle, so like the smallest circle you have, is your closest, right? That's your closest circle. Then the second circle on the outside of that one was your closer circle, and then your outside circle from that one is your close circle. And when it comes to your friends, when you're in a married or committed relationship, is your friends start to move from your closest to your closer circle, and they just kind of sway back and forth based on where like where you're at in that time, right? So if you're building your relationship and you're fresh, like your friends probably going to the closer side. They're not in the closest because you're trying to build that relationship with your partner, right? You're trying to get to know them, go on dates, spend time, see if you can spend night at their house and all this other stuff, just get to know each other and all those things. So you have to become closest with that person. And I think that is something that friends should be mindful of, right? And then the next question is, do friendships have to be constant to be real? So I do believe you don't need to talk to your friends every day or every week or every month to be real. And I think that just came with being older, or, wiser. Let me say wiser. I don't know if I feel the older vibes. But what I do think is good to do with your friendships is to understand how your friends want you to show up for them, right? So understanding their love language in a sense, because I do feel like friendships are just like romantic relationships, and you got to understand what their expectations are for you. So you have to create a mutual expectation for each other. So for example, me and my homegirl Leah, we always talk about having like a conference call or a Teams meeting with each other at least once or twice a month. And we say this because we both work in jobs that use Teams a lot. So I'll be like, I got Teams, you set up a call. And that is for us to make sure that we prioritize a time to talk to each other for a long period of time. So it's like a 2-hour time block where we really over here giving each other tea, cracking each other jokes, whatever the case may be, bouncing off like advice for each other, or, seeing it for wrong, all these kind of things. And the other thing is she doesn't live in Vegas. So that's another reason why it's important for us to have that time to catch up. A lot of my friends don't live in Vegas either. So I do make sure that I am prioritizing ways to just stay in contact. Even if it's just briefly, like just telling them like, I love them. Hey, I'm thinking about you. I saw you did this, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm a person, I keep my red receipts on. So they can text me and I will absolutely read their message and I will absolutely not respond. But I do always go back to people's messages. I also do reassure them too. Like if you leave me on red, I personally do not care. And I say that because I know how fast like you can go into a task. I know how fast you can become busy. I know life be life in, right? So I can't sit around hoping that you just sitting there staring at your phone, just gotta text Tiana back, gotta make sure that Tiana gets this message or she's gonna no. I am low priority because your life matters more, right? And I think for friends that do live near you, I think it's important to prioritize, setting up meetings. Maybe you're having a lunch date, maybe you're gonna have a brunch date, whatever the case may be. I think that is how you show up to make sure that it is constant, but not all. Like, that is what the constant is. It's the once a month you have brunch, as long as that's constant. Also, I do think it's just important to be upfront and communicate your expectations just as you would in a romantic relationship. So the next question is, what does showing up actually look like in your 30s? And kind of just what I just said. I think the first things first is communication. You got to be honest and you have to be clear. We are adults. I don't want to grow up. Say what you have to say. Stop worrying about if, oh, I might sound mean or I might sound like this. Talk it through. Talk it through to see if you sound mean or however you sound or whatever. But who cares? Like, if that's your friend, say it like it is. Like, hey, I wanted to say this, but I felt like at least you're communicating that that's what it is. So then, one, now your intentions are clear that you weren't even trying to cause no harm, right? And another thing is, I think as we get older, the things that we show up for are events that are milestones for our friends, right? So these are weddings, baby showers, graduation, pop-up events for their business. I feel like these are major things that at this age we need to be in attendance. So as you can see, I did leave off birthdays, and I personally just feel like birthdays bring out a drama because you ain't a good friend if you ain't go to their birthday dinner, their trip, or you ain't come to the club hosting. And I think, granted, yes, it's a blessing to have a birthday, but I do not think that a birthday is for other people. Like, a birthday is for you, right? Like me, I love being told happy birthday, but I don't need you to come hang out with me. Like, do I want you to come hang out with me? Can you? Absolutely. But it's not necessarily something that I would be like, oh my gosh, like, you didn't want to come hang out with me. Oh my gosh, like, I'm going to have a fit. Because I think even for me, I like carrot cake on my birthday. I don't want to hear anything about the fact that you don't like carrot cake. I want to go here. I don't need your input on where you want to go or why you don't like this place or anything like that. So I just don't feel like a birthday is in this category for me personally. Now, granted, if let's say prior to this birthday you had a car accident or you had a life-threatening event where you might not have saw this birthday, we gonna be at your birthday. Like, that's worthy of being there because you might not have been here, right? So we need to be grateful for this another year around the sun. Another thing too is when I mentioned earlier that people could be in a different season of their life, and a lot of times, like, that could be like a faith journey, whatever the case may be. And I came across a girl on TikTok who was talking about how her friend stopped being her friend because she didn't go to her birthday party because she was on a sobriety journey, and at the birthday party there was obviously going to be liquor, and she didn't trust herself enough to not drink, and the friend just stopped being her friend. And I think that was wrong, in my opinion. I think because if you are a good friend and your friend just it can't make it because it's something that they're trying to do for personal growth, it's none of your business. I think the only other thing that the friend who is on a sobriety journey could do if the birthday is so important to that friend is maybe taking them out to eat or finding something that they can do that doesn't involve drinking or whatever the case may be. But to not just be their friend, like, dang, like, okay. I can understand, like, if a fallout happens, like, between the ages of 22 and 24 because of something like that, because we're not mature enough to understand how that can affect somebody's life. But at this big age, absolutely not. Like, you need to be supportive in those type of situations. And plus, it's your birthday. Like, do whatever you want. Live it up. Like, the day is about you, right? Anywho, another thing that I see that is big in friendships is when a friend has a baby or they're pregnant. And I always hear people talk about how they lost friends when they were pregnant. And I feel like this goes back to when I talked about, well, actually, I haven't talked about it. I meant to talk about it. But The other thing that's important in a friendship is what is your friendship based on, right? And in the study, it talked about how friendships can either be based on convenience or emotions. And if your friendship is based on convenience, your friendship will not last. And a lot of times, if you have friends and all you ever did was talk about going out and everything else, and it was surface level, that is probably the reason why when you become in that pregnant state or you're had a baby and you're in like that postpartum era, they can't understand because they've never connected with you emotionally. You guys have never talked about anything below the surface. And so to have the expectation of a friend to show up for you during that emotional time, and me being able to speak from experience of the 4 months that I was pregnant, and not that I lost any friends, but just how emotional I was. Like, I'm crying because Brandon said he don't want to watch a show with me at that moment. We're still going to watch that show, but we're not going to watch it at that moment. So I know how it feels probably as a person who was pregnant and your friends ain't talking to you, they ain't texting you, whatever the case may be. So there's that. And then we did get one comment for this topic, and it says friendships in your 30s, especially when y'all have been friends from grade school, they aren't always genuine. Envy is a natural human emotion. Disingenuous friendships in your 30s hit harder than any breakup. They were never truly genuinely happy for you, and they were never rooting for you to win. They can be happy in a relationship, but when you get into one, their true colors start to show. You're more self aware at this age. If you leave the interaction feeling judged, exhausted, or uneasy, wrap it up. No beef, just clear boundaries and lots of distance. It's okay to let old ways fade. Clock it. I love this comment because I feel like it touched on a lot of things that I mentioned earlier. So, love it. Yes, yes, yes. So overall to this topic is, if your friendship is based on convenience or emotionally driven, it will not last. And I do think about my friendships. And for example, my zodiac sign is a Cancer. I am emotional naturally, right? And then also a woman. You know what I mean? So my priority of the way I make my friends is to make sure that they know that I am there for them. Here we go again. Oh, y'all, if y'all knew what was going on, oh my gosh. Okay. I just want to let y'all know, like, this is like my fourth take because my camera be dying, it be overheating. Um, it's not made for like long content like this, even though the episodes don't even be that long. So anywho, I had to scramble to find this like dummy battery thing and Google how to keep it from overheating and all this other stuff. So I'm back. I thought I was a one take Jake. I am not a one take Jake today. I am going though. I am prevailing through all of this. I will not be stopped. Okay. Anywho, I was summing everything up about the foundation of a friendship. At the end of the day, if your friendship is based on convenience in your 30s and it is not emotionally based, it's just not going to last. And that's all I have to say. Make sure that you give your friends grace, because grace is all we need, you need, I need, we all need, okay? So just be gracious, and I think you will be having good friendships, to say the least. I think your friends will like you and you'll like yourself as a friend. Anywho, let's get into the tea talks, right? We got a few questions. And if you do not already know, you can submit your questions, comments, story times, and secrets, and I answer them honestly at the'ttalks.com. You can submit questions whenever you want. I also do ask for people to submit questions, comments, and storytime secrets, whatever, for the weekly topic. So follow me on Instagram at the'Ttalkspod, and you will be seeing on our stories where you can see the weekly topic. I also tell you what the weekly topic will be for the next episode in the current episode. So stay tuned for that. Anywho, let's go into our first question. How do you tell a friend you don't have the capacity for them without ending the friendship? So I think it depends on what you don't have capacity for. So I know we have friends who always got something going on. If it's a negative, I can understand. But if it's that they just got quite a bit of things that they want to involve you in, and you do too at the same time, then I think it's just important to talk about it and say, like, look, I love you and I want to make sure that I am actively present as a friend. Therefore, I want to know that I am showing up how I need to. But I also want you to just know, like, I love you as a friend. I am supporting you from afar. I'm always rooting for you. And if you ever need anything, or if I seem distant in the next coming months or weeks, like, just know it's because of X, Y, and Z. It has nothing to do with you. And if they just can't respect that part, then the hell with them. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But honestly, like, you should be adults enough to just, like, accept it for what it is, right? But I do think that is, like, the best way. Just be honest, like, communicate. I think a lot of people try to tiptoe around conversations. I'm not really good at tiptoeing around conversations because life's too short to tiptoe around a conversation. Might as well just say that shit with your chest, okay? And also because it's the intention behind what you are saying. Like, you're literally just trying to tell them, like, I have my life. My life is very important right now. I have priorities. You are not one of them. And that doesn't mean that you're not their friend or you wouldn't be there for them. Like, I think it goes back to, like I was saying before, as a person, just in general, you have to learn how to show up for yourself and be your own cheerleader. You cannot depend on just your friends to be your cheerleader. And I say that because life be lifing for all of us. And it's for long periods. Like, I think even if I talk about myself, I didn't have no capacity for none of my friends. When I lost my baby, I don't got nothing for you. Not a damn thing. Do I love you? Yes. Do I care about you? Yes. I can't show up for you because I have to show up for myself. I have to show up for my husband. And that is a time where I know it's a season. I don't know how long it was going to last. But I can tell you right now, I didn't care. I didn't care. I didn't care. I just didn't have the capacity. So I think that is, and I didn't have to tell my friends. Like, my friends knew. It was like, if we talk to Tiana, she's going to be depressing. I'm going to be very depressing. Or I'm going to have dark humor. And it's just not the time for dark humor. So, anywho, I say that to say, just be honest, be straightforward, especially if you know why you're not going to have capacity for them. Like, if you know you locked in on a goal and it's like, girl, I can't kick it with you for a couple of months. I'm locked in. They got to respect it. As a real friend, you got to respect that. And that's just the bottom line. So be honest, keep it real. Just tell them what it is. The next question is it shady if I stop inviting a friend out because they always say no? No, never. It's never shady. I have always done this, and I also respect when it is done to me because I know I don't go out anymore. And I also now know how annoying it is to constantly extend an invite and they say no. And it's kind of like, all right, I get it. Let me know when you want to kick it. I know that for me at this point, because I've said no for so long, probably said no for like a year and a half these days, it's like, I know I got to reach out. Like, if I want to kick it with somebody, I definitely got to ask because they not asking me no more. And I understand. Because I think even with me, it's like, you got 2 to 3 times to say no before you're done. Like, you're cooked. I'm never asking you again. And I don't want to hear, oh, you never invite me anywhere. Bitch, let me pull up the receipts. Let me pull up the times that I've asked you and you've said no. And it wasn't like because I'm not aware of what you got going on. It's simply like you look like you have free time, or you ain't communicated that you ain't had no free time. And yeah, so don't be bad. Don't feel bad that you ain't inviting them, because at the end of the day, if they want to be invited, they also can ask. And I don't know if it's like a pride thing where people feel too good to be like, can I come? Not me. Where's the invite? Let me pull up. Where y'all at? Can I come? Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm also like not a person who is shy. I also don't give a fuck what somebody thinks about me in the nicest way. Like, it's I don't know, like, cause I just know who I am, right? Like, I know, and plus, I'm a fun person, so I'm going to bring the vibes. Like, if you're out with me, I'm bringing the vibes. Now, granted, I am not up to date with majority of the songs these days. Like, I will never forget, I was in Big Jerk with my homegirls, and I can't even, see, I don't even know the song. I feel like it's like Shake Shake or man, I feel like the fact that I don't fucking know right now. Dang. Let me see it. Oh, I feel like she's like, let me see you shake that ass. Let me see you shake that. Let me see you move that. Oh, it's like move it. Move that, move that, move that, or something like that. Dang, I gotta find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this song. Oop, oop, oop. I can't get no copyright though. Oh, I think this is it. Oh, yes. This song. That was the song though. And them girls was going crazy. And I was like, okay, get it, move it. Like, I had no idea what the song was. So I would say that, but I'm still turned up with y'all. Like, I'm still locked in. I'm still gonna have a good time. So I just wanted to say that overall, like, no, it's not shady to say no. To, if you know you are the one who has said no majority of the time, if you want to go out, you better ask them. You better say what's popping this weekend. So what's popping, twin? Like, that's what you need to be on, because they're done with you. You're cooked. Okay, so yeah. Anywho, oh, also I do want to say that I will be outside this summer, and like the nicest way, in the most respectful way to my husband, but I will be outside. Like, so please invite me out. Give me some mocktails. I will be drinking wine and champagne. So, give me the invite. Send me the invite this summer, please. Unless I'm pregnant, of course. But please send me the invite. I want to be invited to the cookout. All right. So moving into our next segment, the Would You Rather. So I am going to pick a question and tell you what I think I would choose. So, number 214, would you rather lick all the bugs off an 18-wheeler's radiator after a long haul, or suck on frozen dog poop for 30 seconds? I also want to say, when I ask these questions, it does say in the beginning of the book to, like, you got to take it for what it is. So, like, absence is strictly forbidden. The phrase is, I won't choose either, neither one, who cares, or I would rather die. You can't say that, okay? So just know, like, we can't change the scenario. We got to just choose between the two. I'm going to let y'all know right now. 30 seconds is not that long. Y'all probably like, you're disgusting. I just feel like, for me, licking, I don't know how many bugs are going to be on this 18-wheeler, let alone, I just, I don't have time, because let me find out there's like a spider that got attached to this 18-wheeler. I'm cool. So, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then the thing that says too, it says the dung beetle eats what it lives in. Animal poop. Dang, I'm a dung beetle. Damn it. No, I'm just playing. It also says a sampling of 414 flies found an average of 1,250,000 bacteria on each one's body. That's exactly why I'm not licking all them bugs off. See? I don't need no bacteria. I'm not saying that dog poop ain't got no bacteria, but 30 seconds and it's frozen. It might not even taste like nothing. It's gonna taste like shit. I'm lying. But still, what would you choose? Let me know. I know, so gross, so disgusting. Anywho, before I wrap up this episode, this chaotic episode, this episode that I made it through with all of my technical difficulties, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. I am always so grateful. Make sure you follow the podcast on all platforms at the Tea Talks Pod. And remember, you can watch this podcast live, well, not live, but on YouTube if you want to see what I'm looking like. I do have on my Princess Tiana sweater that I got from my niece, nephew, and my sister. So, you know, let me see. Let me get that mic out the way. Look, Tiana. Anywho, for next week's episode, we're going to be talking about showing up for yourself. So if you have any questions on how to show up for yourself or ways that you do show up for yourself, go ahead and send those questions to thethetalks.com. And like always, I love you. Stay safe, stay honest, and I'll talk with you next week. Bye.